Hey everybody, welcome back to Read More with Trevor. This week, Monday the 18th was Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to you. And although I wanted to maybe focus on a book or two that centers Black people in America, African Americans, people of color, I reasoned that perhaps I could thematically present those titles in February. And instead, for Martin Luther King Jr. Day this week, I wanted to stay on message, facing head on, in a almost confrontational way, problems in America, namely racism, and doing something about it. And for this week's book, I selected the title Rising Out of Hatred, The Awakening of a Former White Nationalist by Eli Saslow. And he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. This is a 2018 title, so not entirely, fresh off from the publisher, but, I put off reading it. I knew I wanted to read it for a while, and then I read it last year. I didn't make a video right away. Had to think about some things and let some things sink in. But essentially, it's the story of a young man named Derek Black. He's the son of Don Black, a very infamous white nationalist personality. We say white nationalists. I don't, some people make distinctions between that and Nazis, etc. Like there's this whole, whatever. He's a racist. Don Black is an infamous racist personality on the radio. And his son, Derek Black, was brought up in a very toxic sort of stew of a lot of these viewpoints, and he joined his father on the radio back in the 2000s, just never really kind of understanding anyone else's position outside of white supremacism. And then he went off to college. He goes to college in Florida as a young man, and he keeps to himself. He has for Derek, the young man, it's not as though he has a personality disorder or anything, he's a reasonable, polite person, but he has these abhorrent views when it comes to ethnicity and so on and so forth. Or he'll defend himself with kind of running around in circles talking about segregation over, outright intolerance and the sort of, these little dodge the point racists love to trot out in front of folks with their arguments. And he's very precocious. He's smart. He's doing well in college. He takes his studies seriously. But the different college students he goes to school with really are the heroes of this book, because his friend Matthew and a handful of others really reach out and kind of keep their eyes on the prize in the long term to try to get Derek to understand his place in sort of the world as well as others, and breaking down these really turgid ideas that he's been brought up with from Don Black, the racist. And it's just kind of Derek's journey to slowly realizing, and then his girlfriend, who's now, her name escapes me, she's instrumental in this process of just kind of really recovering him back from the brink. Kind of an American History X sort of narrative, not, skinhead violence and things like that. Just more like the kind of dark AM radio, internet kind of folks that are out there with their racist views. And for someone who's young and gets an education and learns empathy from his peers who try to reach out, attempt to talk. It is this take on winning people back from racism. And now today, Derek Black repudiates his past. He's tried to reach out to his father to try to get him to understand. His father's not receptive about it. Whole family drama mixed in with the national drama of talking about race. And, for Martin Luther King Jr. Day too, I mean, here's the point with this sort of book that, it's not up for, this was something that was talked about quite a bit in 2020, that for people of color, it's not really their duty to be the anti-racist in the room all the time and to explain things to white people, what's wrong with it and why you should be more tolerant, etc. So for yourself, your friends, your family, your reading book club, what a great way for maybe white people to take a look at some of the more extreme views out there and call them out and know about sort of these dark shadows that exist out there. So a message for conversation, a message for peace, understanding, and that at least for some, it's never too late to educate yourself and treat your fellow human beings better. That is my video this week. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Read more.